Hey, this is Jonathan Ariel with the third video in the series on how to set up a Moodle course. Today we're going to learn how to make changes on the course main page. I want to start up on the top left corner, and if you remember from a previous video, if you click on these three lines, the menu on the left hand side goes away and you can click it and come back. Now there's a lot of powerful buttons in this menu, but we're not going to spend much time on them today. The first one up at the top that says Moodle Sample, that's going to show up throughout the course, and if you forget how to get back to the main course page, you can always click on that one and it'll bring you right back to here. Now the next button in the list is Participants. So when you're ready for your course to go live, you'll be able to come back to this page and you can manually enroll all of your students, or there are options to set up ways under enrollment methods that you can generate an enrollment key and students can add themselves to your course. Now we're not ready for anything like that soon, so let's go back to the main course page. Now skipping over a couple of buttons, the next one down I want to talk about is Grades, and if you click that, you'll be taken to the Moodle Gradebook. Now there isn't much to see here either because A, we don't have any students enrolled, and B, we don't have any activities that could possibly have grades. So we'll come back at a later time and look at this one. So let me go back to the main course page. I want to show you a different way to get there. If you look at this level right here on the screen, you can see right here the name of the course, Moodle Sample. And so I'm going to click that, and that will also take me back to the main course page. Now there's a couple other buttons over here on the left like Calendar and Private Files, but I don't find much use for them. Simply put, there are a lot of other better solutions for running a class calendar and for hosting files like Google Drive and Google Calendar, so I'm not going to spend any time talking about those today. Now the next thing I want to show you is up here in the top right corner. I think we've seen this before, under the Settings button. In a previous video, we edited the course settings, which is the top item in the menu, but for today we're going to turn editing on because we want to make changes to the main course page. Alright, now that brings up a whole lot of edit buttons, all scattered down the page. And so the first edit that I want to make today is to the topic number 1. I want to make it sound more like something that would be in my class, like Unit 1. Well, one way to do that is to click the pencil icon, and we can just type in Unit 1, and then I'm going to hit Enter to save it. Now another way to do that would be find the edit button that lines up with the item we want to edit, and I'll press that, and then choose Edit Topic. Now you can see in this top bar, this is another place I could come to change the name of a topic and make it more relevant to my course. Now in the summary box below, you could put a summary of the unit itself, but I usually leave this blank. Sometimes I have two units open at the same time, and there's a screen that'll show both units with both summaries visible. And I just kind of like to keep things streamlined, and I can put a summary of the unit inside of the unit itself. So let me scroll down a little bit and press Save Changes, although I didn't really make any this time. Now another thing I need to show you is how to hide a unit. In this video today, I'm going to make some more changes to the Unit 1 topic, but if this course was going to go live and have students working in it, I wouldn't want them to be able to see the other 9 topics. So let me come down to the Edit button that lines up with Topic 2, and I'll click it, and then I'll press Hide Topic. And I don't know if you can see it in the video, but the text for Topic 2 is kind of grayed out, but Moodle also displays a message that says Hidden from Students. So I'm going to go hide the other topics that remain, and then I'll come back. There, that's better. Now the next thing I want to show you is how to add things to your units. Right here there's a button that says Add an Activity or Resource, and I'm going to press that. Now this can be kind of an overwhelming list of things that you can add to a Moodle course, but we're only going to focus on a couple of them, and you can always come back later and explore some of the other options that we're not going to look at today. The first thing I want to point out about these is that Moodle separates them by activities and resources. Activities will require some actual activity from students. They'll have to interact with it at some level. And then down at the bottom of the list are resources. And there are more things that students might use while they're working through your course. So I'm going to start with resources, and the first one I want to pick out is a label. Now a label might sound like it's just going to be text, but that text can be formatted, and you can also add things like images to it. And they can really help dress up the appearance of your course. So let's open one up. Let me scroll down just a little bit and press Add. Now for this label, I just want to add a little message. Welcome to Moodle. And I could format that text if I wanted to. I could make it bold. And then I could even come down one line and I could add an image. So on the bar right here, I could press on the image And then this is super important about Moodle. Moodle will let you find an image that's on the web and copy and paste its address, but please don't ever do this. There's a lot of things that can go wrong with that, but probably the most important one for you is that if that image stops being hosted somewhere on the internet, then it's no longer going to work inside your Moodle course, and you'll have to come back and fix that problem. So the safer option is to click on Browse Repositories, and somewhere beforehand you would have downloaded an image, and then we're going to choose Upload a File from Moodle. And so now I'm going to upload a file that I downloaded. And so right here, if you're worried about doing it the incorrect way, if you just look at the URL here, this is the Moodle site that we're currently working on. And if it was a different website entirely somewhere out on the internet, that would be the incorrect way to do this. So we've got our local Moodle address here, so we're safe. Under the description for an image for someone who can't see it, we're just going to put Moodle logo. Sometimes I'll leave that blank, but really if a student's on a connection that won't load images very fast, Moodle will display this message that it's just a Moodle logo and they'll know what they're missing. Now the size of this logo is a little bit large, so I'm going to shrink that down a little bit. That looks about right, and I'll press save. Alright, so there's my logo. I'm going to press save and return to course. And now you can see the label displaying inside of Unit 1. Now there are a couple other resources I want to talk about, so let me bring that list back up. We just looked at label, but right now I want to show you URL. This is if you want to link something directly on your Moodle page. So let me switch tabs for just a second. I want to show you what I'm actually linking. This is Moodle.org, and it's a website made by the people who create Moodle. Let me go to the documentation, and then I'm going to switch this to be the 3.6 docs. Now here you can find a pretty impressive collection of information about setting up a Moodle course. And I'm certainly not going to take you through everything in this website. I'm just going to link to it for now. So let me copy that link, and I'll come back to Moodle. And I'll paste that in for the URL. Now for the name, I just want that to be Moodle Docs. And that would be what a student would click on if they were in my course. Now I usually leave the description blank because the name is probably going to explain what this link is. Let me scroll down, and we'll press save and return to course. And there's my link. Let me turn editing off for just a second. I need to show you a couple of things. And so there's the link right there. I could press it and go right back over to Moodle Docs. Now if you look over here, you see these two little squares. Those are checkboxes that you can click and say, I'm done with that activity. Now they can also be checked automatically by Moodle based on other things that you've done inside the course, and that can get super complicated. So right now they're just set on manual. But I don't really need a checkbox for a link, and so I actually forgot to remove that. So let's go look at that. Let me turn editing back on, and let me go back to this first part. Go to Edit, Edit Settings, and let me scroll down. It's under Activity Completion. It says students can manually mark the activity as completed. Well, that's not really relevant for this part, so I'm going to say do not indicate completion. And then I'll press save. And so that checkbox is gone. I'm going to go fix this one and come back. That's better. To organize my Moodle unit a little more, I'm going to add some more labels. So let me come back in. And I want to create a section heading, just to create like a little link section on that page. Now this time I'm going to remember to come to Activity Completion and choose Do Not Indicate. Alright, so I have my helpful links, but it's below the link that I put in before. So if you notice right here, I can click on that and just drag it up and then drop it in place. Now I want to create one more label. I'm going to call this one Quizzes, because that's what the next video is going to be about, is how to set up a quiz. And then I'm going to add one more label to this course. Right here, if you look at Moodle Docs and Quizzes, it seems to me like there should be a little bit of a space between the sections, and I'm ashamed to admit how long it took me to figure out how to do this, but we're going to go add a label to the course. But this time, it's just going to be completely blank. So if you see the little blank label right here, I can just drag it up, drop it in place, and then there's the space. If you spend a long time setting something up on your Moodle page, You could come back to the Edit button for that label, and then you could say Duplicate. And then you could take that duplicated link and just drag it down to a different unit. And that way you could create something once and copy it as many times as you need. Also, if you want to hide an individual item in a unit from students, you can come back to the Edit button for that item, and you can choose Hide. And then just that particular item is hidden from students. Don't get this confused with the overall unit. I can go to the Unit Edit button, and I can hide the entire topic. And then everything in the unit is grayed out because students can't see it. And so when you get to a particular unit in the year, you can come press Show Topic, and notice that that individual item was still hidden. So you don't ever have to go hide and unhide every single item in a unit unless you want to do it that way. Let me press Show for that one. One more thing, under every Edit button, there's a Delete. And if you press it, Moodle will ask you if you're sure that you want to delete that item. Be very careful about this button because there is no undo button on Moodle. Once you delete it, it's gone forever. So I'm going to leave this one in place. So let's go back to the resource list. I have a couple more things to show you there. Up at the top of the list, we've got File and Folder. And so you can set up folders and you can upload files to Moodle, but I strongly recommend that you use a different service, something like Google Drive. It's just going to be way less frustrating to deal with when you're trying to do these activities. Also, our Moodle server has a size limit, like if we upload too many things to it, it will become large enough that it becomes a problem. And so again, except for images that you're building into your course directly, I strongly recommend that you do not upload files to Moodle. Now let's go up and look at the activities. Now most of the things in this activity list I don't actually use for my course. There's an assignment option at the top of the list where a student can type things into a text box or they can upload files for you to grade. But again, I recommend that you use a different platform for things like assignments and turning in documents. Something like Google Classroom is going to be way less frustrating when you're trying to do that activity. The one that I'm going to use the most in Moodle is the Moodle quiz. And we're going to actually add a Moodle quiz to this course in another video. It gets a little bit complicated. What I want to point out is that a Moodle quiz doesn't have to be a traditional quiz in the classroom sense. I mean, it doesn't have to be a one-shot performance to make a grade. If you look right here in the list, quizzes may be used as course exams. And I do this in my classroom. At the end of a unit, I have a quiz that requires a password. And so when a student is ready to take the test, they show me their computer, they ask me to type in the password for the quiz, and then the quiz loads, but it's really functionally a test at that point. Now, before that test, I have a different quiz that's set up as exam practice, and a student can take that quiz as many times as they like, and the grade isn't even recorded in the actual classroom gradebook. And somewhere between those two, I have Moodle quizzes that are set up as formative assessments, where a student has maybe 5 or 6 tries at that quiz, and their highest grade will be recorded. But it's certainly not expected that they make their highest grade on the first try. And so I'm going to save all that quiz setup detail for a later video. Let me come back here and press cancel. At this point, I think it's probably time for you to take your Moodle course and start adding things to the main course page. If you wanted to go through all of your topics and rename them to match the units of your course, and maybe find an image for every unit and upload it to Moodle, that would be a really good place to start. Let me scroll down to the bottom of the page. There's one more thing I want to show you. I think Moodle comes with a default of 10 topics that you can customize into units. And if you have fewer than 10, you could go to the Edit button and press Delete Topic. But what if you have 11 units in your course? Well, there's an Add Topic button down here at the bottom, and it'll simply add one to the bottom of your Moodle page. And so that's everything I wanted to show you in this video. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to set up a Moodle quiz, and then we'll learn how to write questions and assign them to that quiz. For now, thanks for watching.